G'day everyone and welcome back to this week's fishing report, where every cast is an adventure. Whether you're a seasoned angler or someone just starting out in fishing, the fishing report here is going to tell you everything that's been biting around Sydney and where to go fishing this weekend. Well, out off Sydney, there's been a really nice marlin bite. Over the last week, there's been boats heading out towards Browns Mount and catching multiple marlin in one day. Some great fishing to be able to head out offshore. Also out offshore, there's been a few really nice kingfish that have been caught. They have been quiet over the last month and they seem to be coming on the bite over the last week. Using live squid has been the #1 bait to be able to catch them. Also using jigs in those deeper waters, 50-60 metre reefs, have been producing some really nice kings in excess of a metre out offshore. In regards to the rivers, the kingfish have been around, particularly in Botany Bay around the runways. They've been producing really nicely, again on small live squid. There are big fish, that 80-90 centimetre fish around, but the more common ones are our 65 to 70, what we would call our rat style kingfish. Also, heading along the sand flats in the afternoons and early mornings are producing some really nice whiting on surface, and also anchoring up, creating a burley trail and using some nippers as well along those sand flats and the edges of those sand flats. Along with that, our brim have still been on fire using those cicada lures. With the hot weather that's been about over the last week, people have been casting cicada lures under trees and producing some really nice fish, particularly our yellowfin brim. Other fish that have also been caught using those cicada lures, things like our estuary perch as well, are also around those sort of areas as well, and there's been some really nice fish caught. Speaking about the weekend and the weekend to come, unfortunately there's quite a lot of bad weather to come. We've got a southerly that's going to be blowing 45 to 50 k's an hour both Saturday and Sunday. So I'm not going to really recommend you guys to go out and have a fish. I would more recommend maybe going land-based fishing than rather out in the boat. And if you're going to go land-based fishing, maybe head to your southern spots. So places like Bundeena in the Port Hacking's a really good one. Also Gymea Bay is a nice one to be able to be out of the wind during those southerlies. If you're heading to Botany Bay and the Georges River, places like Warrenora River, Captain Cook Bridge on the southern side, and Tower are also some really good ones to be able to head out and have the fish. Again, probably not going to recommend you guys to be able to go out and have a fish because the weather conditions do not look great. So I'd strongly suggest probably stay inside, get some jobs done around the boat, service the engines, do some wheel bearings, check on your trailers, and make sure you've done all the maintenance for when that weather will eventually turn back to being some really nice conditions. So that's going to do it for today's report. Unfortunately, there isn't great weather about, and it's going to be hard to be able to go out for a fish this weekend. But once that weather turns, we have had some really nice fishing. So fingers crossed for some good weather to come, and we'll see you next week for the fishing report.